Hey there, welcome to Business Breakthroughs. I am Neal Dipentino. I'm the president of Titan Media Works and your host today on Business Breakthroughs, where we get no BS advice and direction from those people who've been down in the trenches. Our guest today has an incredible sales background. He has used that experience to create and operate a number of successful digital businesses. He's the owner and the CEO of Level 9 Virtual from Bozeman, Montana. Please welcome to the show, Joe Rare. Joe, welcome, buddy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, man. So we've been having a little bit of fun offline talking, kind of about just a lot of things in general. And everything. And you're up in Bozeman, Montana. Golly, who wouldn't want to be up in Bozeman, Montana?
Well, if you're a skier, you don't want to be here right now. We're just suffering with no snow. So it's been, I'm a snowmobiler, so I'm literally itching and there is no, but we have about 6 straight days of snow on the horizon. So I am hopeful and we'll see how it goes.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. I mean, what's Montana without a little bit of snow in the wintertime, right?
That's right. Oh my gosh. I know we got some snow early in the fall. We thought we were going to get pummeled this year, and then it's just been super warm. So my wife likes it, but I can't ride very much if I don't have enough snow on the ground. So
no, I totally get that. I totally get it. My wife's the same way. She's like, she's from the South, so she likes the heat. She likes the humidity. She likes all of that kind of stuff. And so when we decide where we're going to go on vacation, it's always, the beach or the mountains. I never win. I love the mountains. I'm from Colorado originally, so I love skiing. I love getting out in the cold and everything. But I totally get that. But if I were up there with you, I would be like, I'd be keeping my fingers crossed for a little bit of snow, and I'd join you in a snowmobile ride. So that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
cool,
absolutely.
Man. So we're going to talk a little bit of business. We've got, a lot of things really to talk about. And we were kind of you've done so many things. You own so many different businesses. It's like, okay, where do we start? We're going to get into that. We've kind of decided on where we're going to go with that. But before we actually get into the business part of it, let's talk about Joe Rare. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm actually a really simple guy. I've got 2 daughters and my wife, and then all of our animals that continue to grow, more chickens and all kinds of, we keep getting, I feel like every time I turn around, there's something new, but, we live a very simple life up here. We, love the outdoors. So it's a lot of, camping and, hiking and side by sides and snowmobiling and skiing. And, but other than that, I've got a whole boatload of siblings, and we, we're all pretty close and like to spend time and family together. And, business is like one of my hobbies, but my philosophy is building businesses around my lifestyle. So I completely pride myself. If you see anything online about me, it's always family above all. And so my philosophy is building businesses that allow me to do everything with my kids. And so I never miss a thing. I take them to school every day. I can, be at every practice or, gymnastics event or, cheer or, now my daughter's doing competitive, or travel, club volleyball, excuse me. I coached her basketball team, and it's just like, it's nonstop. And so horseback riding and everything that these kids are doing, we have the opportunity to try a lot of things because I'm there and I'm available. And that is the number one thing that's important to me. So business aside, family above all.
And that's something that anybody, if they understand the process and learn the process and live the process, which we're going to talk about, anybody can really do that. And what a great lifestyle that would be.
Yep, absolutely. It's definitely not limited to just a select few. This is something anybody can do.
Right. So, there's a lot of people that make a lot of grandiose claims about being able to make you rich overnight and all these kind of things and everything. But really, that's not your claim. And it's not your progression. You've actually started in the trenches. You were a door-to-door salesman, and that all kind of that led to where you are right now. Tell us a little bit about that whole progression and where you came from, what you're doing now.
Well, the biggest thing was, like him or hate him, I'm a Robert Kiyosaki fan. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I read when I was still in high school, and it was something that resonated very, very heavily with me, that I understood that going to work for somebody else creates wealth for them, not for you. And whatever the reason was, that one lesson really hit home. Probably because, my mom, my stepdad, they're the working class. My mom was a waitress. My stepdad was a cop, and they struggled financially, and we didn't have everything. And, but so I understood that no matter how hard they worked, there's a ceiling that they can't break through. There's no chance that they can become wealthy unless they did something themselves. And whether that's they learned how to invest themselves and do, but those are entrepreneurial moves as well. And so, yeah, it just stuck with me that, building my own thing was my key to wealth. It was what I was going to do. And so that led me down a kind of a very crooked path to where I got to today, but it hasn't been easy. It hasn't probably been fun for too many people in my life until now. Now it's fun, but before then it was a lot of challenges, a lot of heartache.
Yeah, I completely understand that. And what's interesting to me, I was listening to some of your shorts on LinkedIn, and a couple of them really resonated with me. And the one thing I really liked, I thought was really cool that you said was that you fail faster than most people make their first step. So really, it's really about getting out there and doing it. You learn the techniques, you learn the things that you need to do to be able to achieve the type of lifestyle that you have. But then you got to make that first step. You got to make it fast.
Yeah. When you're getting started with something, one of the biggest challenges is everybody wants it to be perfect. And out of the gate, it's got to look like this and feel like this. And if I can't put it out until it's this way. Um, okay, well, while you're worrying about all that stuff, we're going to go collect money from people for our idea that we're trying to figure out if it's going to work. And when we collect money and people say, hey, yeah, we'll buy your stuff, then we're like, okay, great, off to the races. Let's go build the business. You still haven't even tested, come up with the full concept and actually gone to market and tried. And so my philosophy is I'd rather get the no, get the failure, fall on our face, get back up, try it again, try it differently, learn the lesson, continue to move. I'd rather do that 100 times while everybody else is still trying to take that first step. And that's been our ability to replicate our business model over and over again, is simply because we're willing to go fail and fail fast. And so that's been helpful for us.
And you've used that whole methodology with a number of business. How many businesses do you own right now?
Right now we're at 6. Plus, I'm a partner in some wedding venues. Plus, our real estate portfolio.
Okay, so each of these businesses that you run basically run on the same model, right? They're all
Identical.
digital. Okay,
Yep.
so tell us what that looks like a little bit.
So, the philosophy is that the back end of the business, which you don't see, should be identical across each of our businesses, regardless of what they are. Some of them are much more human capital intensive, so they have more staff. Others are much more technology based. But when you look at HR, you look at finance, you look at operations, direction, marketing, sales, all of those are exactly the same. So I can pick one person up from operations in company A and move them to company D, and they do the exact same thing. They may have to come to terms with phrasing, industry phrasing, our service offerings, some things that they'll have to tweak to make sure they understand what we're communicating. But all in all, it's identical. And so their role in company A is the exact same as it's going to be in company D. They're going to do the exact same thing, even though the companies may not have anything to do with each other and be completely different. One could be a SaaS company. The other one could be a freight dispatching company, which is 2 companies we have. And they'll do the exact same thing.
That's really cool. It kind of takes me back to my early days in business. I used to work for the Learning Company. It was a company owned by Kevin O'Leary, Mr.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
I remember that one.
And and so we actually developed a calendar. Back then, you didn't have calendars that actually came with your computer, or there was no Google.
Yeah.
There was none of that kind of stuff, right? So we created a calendar product, and so we had that engine. We had the core product, and so but what was really kind of cool, we were able to create a bundle of new products based on that core product. So we had our regular calendar, and we added some swimsuit models. We had the Sports Illustrated model calendar. We had the Muppet calendar. We had like 20 different calendars. It was all the same thing. We just added new art to it.
Sure.
It's kind of
Absolutely.
very similar, I think, in concept, really.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sounds like it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about now. You've got. I think your number one business, if I'm not mistaken, is the virtual assistant business. Is that your
That's
primary
the
focus?
largest company. Yeah.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that and what you're doing there.
So we provide virtual assistant services to small businesses all around the world. And so what that means is virtual staff that exists outside of your office space or home office. Primarily, we focus overseas in the Philippines and South America. And The value behind it is that you can leverage the dollar further. So you can both increase your productivity by simply having staff do work, but you can increase productivity by leveraging your cost. So for the cost that it would require you to hire one person for, say, in the US, you could hire 2 to 4 in the Philippines for the same cost. And so most people's concern is that, well, does that mean that the quality is lower? So I always give the same example over and over because it makes the most sense, is that my lead developer on my team who works directly in my companies, he has a master's degree and he's a professor at a university. I am a college dropout. And so this gentleman has more, he has more education than I do. Not to mention, he has a ton of experience in his craft, and he's far better than anybody I've paid in the US to do it. Not to say that somebody can't, but if you were to compare dollar for dollar, I would take him over anybody in the United States 100 times over because I have cost leverage. I have, far more resource availability with him, and I can build an entire team of guys like him for a fraction of the cost. And so that's one of the biggest levers that virtual assistants offer, but it also gives the opportunity to, build teams of people that can operate all of these different areas of your business. And kind of the only caveat is that you kind of got to get good at communicating, and that's about it.
Yeah. So with your business, like you said, you have to communicate with the people that you're dealing with if they were in your office anyway.
Correct.
So, and everybody's virtual officing these days anyway.
Yep. Correct.
So what's the difference? I mean, yeah, you've
Yeah.
got you're outsourcing this, whether, I look at like virtual officing is almost outsourcing, but this is actually
It's
even better.
very similar.
Yeah,
Yes.
very similar.
Yep.
One of the things I saw, I spent quite a bit of time on your LinkedIn. You've got some great videos, by the way. That was a lot of
Thank
fun.
you. Yeah.
There's one that came out here recently called, the title was Delegate and Dominate. And you talk about financial resources are your time. So really what you're doing is you're giving time back to yourself to be able to do those important things that you should be doing.
Absolutely. So if you're a business owner, if you're an investor, if you I in all of my companies, since I don't actually operate them, my team runs the companies, and literally they're virtual assistants in the Philippines, and they run my companies. I have the ability to sit back and be what I want to be, which is a strategic advisor and an investor into my businesses. So those are the two areas that I want to be able to give my focus. I want to be able to create advice. So if it's big picture, hey, here's the direction and the vision of the company, here's where we're going to go. Okay, great. Now team, go execute that. That's the part that I want to play. Then we'll come back, we'll sit down in a quarter, we'll review, we'll see where things are. We can decide if we need to allocate or switch out resources and provide more, take things away, whatever that might be. We can make those evaluations in real time from 30,000 feet instead of being in the business where I hold responsibilities every single day and things are reliant on me. So I become a bottleneck very often. So with that, it makes it very easy for me to step back and go, well, I have so much more time to evaluate where I want the company to go, what resources we need to do it. Over the quarter before we meet again, as an example, I can come up with a lot of different scenarios. I can go create partnerships with, other channel partners and other businesses that have the same audience and, that we might be able to do some deals with. I have all the time in the world to do those things, which allows us to continue to grow faster than everybody else because I'm not stuck in the middle. And I
Right.
think that a lot of times people get stuck inside their business and they don't have the opportunity to work on it. And so by buying back my time, letting other people operate things, we scale a lot faster than most businesses.
So let me ask you, so in your virtual assistant business, what type of, is there any particular type of business that could utilize that service? Is it work better for one kind of business or one channel more than it would for another?
Well, the concept itself, no. There's nobody that it works better for or worse. If you have anything in your business that you could leverage, let's say, a non-physical activity, admin type work is one, marketing work is another. Those types of roles are always somebody sitting at a desk, kind of pounding away at the keyboard, doing things that for the most part, somebody could do overseas.
Mhm.
And so when you think about some of those, I mean, then you can get into, inventory management. If it doesn't require the physical side of it, actually counting, but all of the data, they can handle it. And so there isn't one type of a business. It's most common, I would say, in the marketing world, in the real estate world, mortgage. They're heavily using it. One of the areas that we stepped in and we work kind of with every business out there is call center. So we actually have an answering service where I mean, everybody's experiencing this right now. You pick up the phone and you need something. You need to call a contractor. You need a plumber. They don't answer the phone. They don't call you back. And that's fine if business is booming. But the moment that they're going to need the plumber, the contractor, the home service provider, the moment they need a customer, they just tarnish their relationship with the entire market because they stopped responding. They stopped answering the phone. And so our method was, well, let's come in, let's help you. We'll answer your calls. We'll take, if you're not available, that's fine, but don't negate the entire market that you're going to need when things are not amazing, when you're not booming with business, because you're going to wish that you had a better reputation. And you can go online right now. You can look in any market. You can go look at everybody's reviews. A very common thing is they didn't answer the phone. They didn't call me back.
Right.
We
Right.
solve that problem as well.
I love that. Yeah, communication is key to success for a lot of business. I mean, if we're not communicating with our customers on a regular basis, whether we know them or not, like you said with the plumber example, it might be somebody who's got a busted pipe. You've never talked to them in your life, but you can guarantee. I can almost guarantee you that if you don't answer the phone, you don't respond. They're going to respond some way.
Somewhere. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
going to go. Yeah, they'll do business with the next person who answers the phone.
that's right.
So why not
That's
let it
right.
be you? Yeah.
So, in dealing with people overseas in the Philippines and in South America, you mentioned, is there any kind of language barriers that somebody might be concerned with?
Well, one of the reasons that we heavily invested in the Philippines is that the Philippine culture very much mimics ours as far as the US goes, or Western society. So I tried everywhere. I tried India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Vietnam, everywhere. I landed in the Philippines simply because as I was testing projects and wanting them to get things done, their work most, specifically mimicked what we would have done if we had done it right here in the United States. And so it was very similar in our styling, color schemes, branding, all of those kind of things. So I said, okay, this seems pretty good. Why is that? And so the further I dug in, I find they listen to our music, they watch our movies, they wear the same brand of clothes very often. We'll get on calls with team members and they're wearing like a New York Yankees hat,
Uh,
right? Or a 49ers hat right now, And so it's kind of funny because you go, well, why would they be doing that? Well, because they mimic the US culture. And so the results were really good when it comes to English communication. There is an accent, but the communication, the ability to understand what we're saying, regurgitate it back to us, things like that, were strong because street signs are in English and universities teach in English. So while Tagalog might be their native language, still English is very close second. And so that's one of the reasons that it worked out so well using the Philippines.
I love that. That's awesome. We actually use for our business too. We use some people in South America,
Yeah.
Central America works really well for us as well. Mostly on the marketing side, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
and everything. So if I want to, hire somebody to do marketing for me, and I want to get a virtual assistant, and probably part of the reason why I want to do this because number one, time.
Yeah.
Okay, I can leverage time, but then there's knowledge too. What kind of training do you provide training to your people,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
what does that look like?
So what's interesting about our service that's probably vastly different than a lot of other companies is that while we do provide the dedicated virtual assistants to small businesses, so somebody says, "Hey, I need somebody who can do social media marketing or email marketing." We can provide that one individual to your business. They'll work directly with you. We'll manage their HR, we'll manage their payroll, we'll do all of that stuff in-house on our side because there's a lot of compliance things when you start to employ people overseas. But with that said, with the dedicated VAs, what's interesting, we also have a second service called our projects on demand, or we call it pods. And those projects on demand, you can buy blocks of hours and assign a plethora of tasks. So kind of anything you can imagine. I need a graphic design test done, a video edited, my database updated, a CRM, a funnel built, whatever, right? And I'm talking mainly in the marketing realm. What we do when we hire somebody in the beginning, even if they're going to work directly for you, we actually put them in our pod program, and they go through and they work on tasks for tons of clients. So we actually test their knowledge. When they don't know something, we have a team of what's called subject matter experts, and so SMEs, our subject matter experts will teach them how to do things they don't know how to do. So if they come and they go, hey, I'm trying to figure this thing out and this keeps breaking, or I can't get this integration right, they will literally just do the work for them, showing them how to do it so that they can fix it and do it the next time. And so we have this whole system built up to where somebody comes into our business, they immediately start working on tasks for my business and for our clients. And we have a whole, QA process that, makes sure that they have great quality, that the output is strong. Then we go, okay, this person's awesome. They know their stuff. They're skilled. They've been through some training with us because we also do other training. Then we place them with a client. So they've gone through all of that before they ever reach you.
That's amazing. And you have a number of employees that actually perform these tasks too, right?
Oh yeah. At all times. I mean, my internal team that just works 100% for my companies, we're at 24 or 26 people. And then on top of that, we always have new blood coming through that are, new hires that are coming through. They're getting their feet wet. We make sure that they know what they're doing. They're practicing on tasks. A lot of times I'll say, hey, I'm working on an idea. Give me a couple newbies who are brand new to the company. Let's get them in. Let's get them working. They'll do projects directly for me. And then we'll go, okay, they're good. Now let them work with clients.
I like that. I like the testing on yourself before you
Yeah.
hand them off to somebody. Because a lot of places, a lot of people, I get calls all the time from people who have, virtual assistant type offerings, that type of thing. And the one thing that I found is that either they're really super small, they can't handle what we're looking for, or it might be a situation where I don't feel comfortable with the people because I don't feel they're really trained.
Yeah.
And I think if if you get a good virtual assistant, you might stick with them for a really super long time. So they become like your right-hand person.
Absolutely.
Really. Yeah. I love that. I love that. So can you maybe give us an example of maybe a client that you're working with and how they use your service and how it's performed for them? What the outcome might have been?
I mean, I can give a whole bunch. It kind of depends which direction you want to go. We have, we have attorneys, a guy who ended up becoming a friend because he's been a client with us for 6 years or so. He's had the same VAs with us. And he's just continued to do all kinds of projects, from hiring 10 VAs at one time to do a huge data project, plus having his own virtual assistant that he hired from us, managing that team of 10 for that big project for their law office. Then, she's an integral part in all of the day-to-day operations of that company and managing their team, managing their outsourced team. We have a company called Spry Steel. They sell steel buildings, right? Big barns, big commercial buildings. They use us for lead answering. So as they have new inbound leads coming into their system, we answer the messages in real time, whether it's through text or Facebook messaging or email or people calling in. And we book them, I think, 350 appointments a month. And so their business has skyrocketed, and they're doing amazing. And so there's a couple, but we could keep going down the list. There's just endless numbers of companies that we help with that.
I never thought about, we were talking about like 10 virtual assistants working on one project. It never dawned on me. I never thought about that. I'm thinking like one single person who's doing a single task for me, and, they do an email marketing thing, and then they do social media after they're done with that, and they maybe like lead generation or whatever. But I never thought of a whole team of virtual assistants actually doing a job. That's cool.
So one thing I have this really, really distaste for social media myself personally. So I don't love social media. I don't even have the apps on my phone. But I know for a fact that in business, I've got to use it. I've got to put out content. So I don't produce anything. So usually what I do is if I'm doing interviews with a podcast, I'll run another camera. We'll chop up that content and create something. But all I do is record it, pass it to my team. They do everything else. Well, of course, as I'm listening to more content, I'm realizing I'm not doing even a fraction of the volume we should be doing if we actually want to leverage social media. And I had a conversation last week with part of my team, and I was just like, this is kind of silly because I help people all the time build teams of people to produce enormous amounts of social media content, build their brand up, but I won't do it because I don't like social media. And I just realized it's just time. And
Yeah.
so we're in the process of actually putting together our team. And what we'll do is, approximately 10 people, and we will do nothing but produce massive amounts of content and blast the universe with my brand. And part of it is that we are going to be launching a podcast as well. So that's going to be another avenue of it as well. But, this is all stuff that, as long as it fits into my lifestyle, I'll do it. But, if it's not going to, then I'm not going to do it.
I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
I think you made that perfectly clear, and I love that. Well, listen, we're coming to the end of our time together. I really appreciate you being on the show with me today. So, obviously, we can find you on LinkedIn. How else can we find you or your services?
Yeah. So level9virtual.com. You can see it on the screen. Level9virtual.com is an easy place. There's a book a call button in the top right corner. You can email me directly, joe@level9virtual.com. If you ever want to just reach me direct. I will not answer the email first. My assistant will, but I will be told that it's there. So then we could go from there. So if it's something dedicated to me, then she'll let me have it. But yeah.
Wow. Man, you drank the Kool-Aid in the big time. I tell you, I love that.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think our audience will be doing that. They'll be looking at that more closely after this interview.
I know. Buddy. It's always fun. All right.
Joe, thanks so much. I appreciate you being on the show with me. Hey, folks, that's all we have for today. Thank you for being here. So thrilled that you could be with us. Please give us a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more shows on your favorite podcast provider. Business Breakthroughs is sponsored by Titan MediaWorks, providing podcast service, production service, and guest booking services for those who want to be in the podcasting space. Check us out at titanmediaworks.com. That's work spelled WORX. And also check out all of our other great hosts on the Small Business Delivered Network at smallbusinessdelivered.com. Until next time, have a great day. I look forward to seeing you again. Take care. Bye-bye.